What does the end of 2026 look like for me, for Empire Property Management, Empire Construction, and all the business entities that you've known to love over the years and that provide you this awesome suite of services called the Empire ecosystem? Well, today we're going to dive into what the outlook is on 2026 and what to expect in 2027. So stay tuned. Welcome to Growing Empires. I'm Jennifer DeJesus, real estate investor and operator. This show takes you behind the scenes of how real estate assets are executed, managed, and positioned for long-term performance. Let's get into it. So I've been learning recently, as I'm trying to expand my professional bandwidth and my expertise, I'm learning that I haven't always been the best communicator at my future plans. Part of that is I always had a sense of kind of anxiety about talking about where I want to go before I've actually figured out how to get there. And to me, it's always been a sign of weakness. As the visionary of the companies and everything that I do, I'm always the one that's 10 steps into the future. And I'm always the one that has my sights set on large goals. I'm not one that needs to be motivated by anybody. I'm very good at motivating myself, but I don't always have everything planned or figured out. So as the visionary in my companies and the person that sometimes can be known to have her head in the clouds as it relates to future ideas, my bright moments, I've always been hesitant to talk to investors, talk to my employees, talk to my colleagues about what my goals are and where we're going in the future and what our direction is, because I always felt like if I didn't get there, it would feel like failure. And I didn't want to fail and I didn't want to feel like I was failing. But also, I always was concerned about somebody's judgment in the sense that most people's perception of something is it can be done quicker than it gets actually really done in real life, especially when you're running multiple businesses. So I've always hesitated to even talk about what my goals are because I didn't want to be judged. I wanted to do my own judgment based on whether I achieved or didn't achieve that specific destination. But I'm learning in business, you've got to open up, you've got to share more, and it's amazing to me how many opportunities have presented themselves in front of me this year alone from just doing that same thing. And I'm going to share my story with you about where we're going and what we're doing. And my hope is that not only do you see potential opportunity for yourself, but you will take this lesson and use it to expand your investment journey. So if you have not been the one that ever talked about your investments, your real estate investments, or your strategies, I'm going to encourage you to talk about it. Talk about it to your colleagues, your peers, your spouse, whoever it may be that's in your life and is important to you. Talk about it because you never know who's got a connection for you that could be instrumental in your growth. It could lead you down a path that opens doors that you never would have thought of. If I wasn't talking about the industry back when I started the Empire Capital Fund, I never would have gotten into the hedge fund space. If I wasn't talking about syndicating large deals, I never would have gotten into the syndication space. I never thought that I was going to be the one raising capital until I started talking about it and learning about it. And now I raise capital, millions and millions of dollars of capital for not only my own deals, but other deals as well. The lesson behind today's story is really about opening up about your real estate investment journey, where it's leading you, what your goals are, because you never know where there may be synergies or common practice or common experiences that will be beneficial to you in your investment career. So what's on the horizon? What am I doing? Well, this is all about business acquisition. I've taken the last decade and a half absolutely mastering everything in business, from hiring and firing. We call it the right people in the right seats, to identifying what our core values are, what our 3 uniques are in business. Who are we and who are we servicing? Who is our ideal client? And I have to say that those moments with our business advisor have been some of the most pivotal moments in my investment in business career thus far. And it's knowing exactly how to identify who your core client is, knowing how to identify exactly what your core philosophy is, your core focus, your core values, and then making sure you're really clear on your unique perspectives and what you offer to anybody coming in. That was more of the business operations side. The other thing that I needed to do was I needed to right size my business. I needed to have the right people in the right seats, but I need to have the right amount of people in the right key locations that can handle the bandwidth that was given to them. I didn't have a bunch of employees that had too much work and not enough time. We had to make sure that people were excelling in whatever their particular position was, and that they were the right people because they were the people that modeled the core values and could add value to the organization, not be a deterrent for future growth or future business. In the effort to right size the company from a people perspective and a client perspective, we also needed to right size the business based on an ops perspective, which was our standard operating procedures. Everything that we do in every single company across the entire ecosystem is based on a standard operating procedure. It is a set of boundaries. It is a set of guidelines and principles that we operate on and we execute with excellence every single time we are utilizing one of our standard operating procedures. Now, the reason I tell you all of that is because I had to go through that realization in business and in life for me to be able to set the next stage or the next outlook on where we are. I would not be able to do what I'm going to share with you next if I wasn't in a position where I could legitimately trust every senior executive that is in my organization, not only with my life and my business, but with purpose and drive to execute on our business plan every single day without fail. If you think about construction, I want you to think about how things are built, right? We talk about the dirt, the land, the foundation, and then everything is built upon that foundation. As you're building a structure, if the foundation or any level of that foundation starts to get a little bit weak or compromised, that building could topple over. I was starting to feel at max scale like my operations were about to topple over, and we didn't have the right foundation. So what I did was I started destroying it from top to bottom purposefully so that I could rebuild the foundation and make sure that it was strong. Our foundation and our standard operating procedures and everything that we hold true in business today, I can tell you, is an absolute rock solid foundation that from here on out will only be a source of structure and strength to everything that we're doing in the future. So what does it look like? What is the end of 2026? Well, the end of 2026 is going to look like business acquisitions for me. We are also simultaneously working on rounding out our first hedge fund, the Empire Capital Fund, which I'm super excited about. And there's no doubt in my mind that we are going to end that fund with sizable returns to our investors and a feeling of knocking it out of the park, which is exactly what we were hoping for at the inception of the fund. The fund is winding down. And on the horizon is a brand new fund. This is going to likely be $1 billion fund. You will see many other colleagues of mine in the fund, my experts, the people that I trust with everything in business that have similar outlooks, similar principles about business, and have the expertise and have run their own funds as well. We are going to be building a debt and equity fund. So not only will we be buying real estate, but we will be in equity positions, in debt positions, doing some hard money lending, and a lot of opportunities for our investors moving forward. And I am super excited about that. The Empire Capital Fund is going to end sometime in 2027. We've already started the phase out of certain properties, selling them one after another. And we will conclude the Empire Capital Fund in 2027. And by that time, our new fund will be live and provide both debt and equity opportunities as well as real estate investments for our investors. This will likely be an evergreen fund, which means it does not end. It does not have a timeline. It's not a hard stop or a closed-ended fund like the first one, and I'm super excited about it. We'll be shooting for probably $1 billion in the fund, and I'm really, really excited about what's to come and the partnership there. On the other side is the business acquisitions. So what are we looking to do? We are looking to acquire businesses that are similar to the businesses that I already currently operated. And we're targeting specifically property management companies as well as real estate brokerages. The reason that I'm targeting these two types of businesses right now is because they are the root foundation of all of the things that we do in the Empire ecosystem. I would consider the property management to be the nucleus or the core, the engine of everything that we do. But the real estate arm is certainly the GPS. It's certainly the one that drives where we are investing, why we're investing, and the next markets that we're targeting. What can you expect, and what does this mean for you? Well, anytime we are putting a footprint in a different area, different location, different state, we're opening the door for opportunities for you as our investors. And because these are new business ventures and they are business acquisitions, there's going to be some partnership opportunities for those of you that might be interested. Those partnerships could be a range of equity positions for capital infusions or some type of operational function. But I can tell you with absolute certainty that what we're buying is things that we've already mastered. We're not trying to venture into a business or an industry that we are not fully committed to or fully aware of. We are going to be looking to buy property management companies and real estate brokerages in our target markets of Pennsylvania, as well as some of the surrounding states that we've already done a complete due diligence on. I have a couple of NDAs already out, so this is not a thought of the future. This is an actual movement that's happening right now. And what those NDAs mean is that we've identified a couple of businesses that would be likely targets. I've signed a non-disclosure agreement with these businesses, and we are currently underwriting their financials to see if they are viable acquisitions. The property management companies, as well as the real estate brokerages, are likely going to be companies of sizable scale, far larger than we are currently. And the purpose is to be able to implement our systems and our operational effectiveness into these organizations to grow them exponentially. As an example, if we're talking about property management, just to give you a kind of an insider's view on what I'm thinking, we look at the property management industry as a whole, and I can tell you that in many cases, what is considered to be full service does not usually include a maintenance arm. So although the property management companies could handle maintenance and repairs on properties, they typically do not do those services in-house. They subcontract them. And a lot of times that subcontracting comes with a premium price. The reason we've insourced or have employed the people that do the maintenance and repairs in our organization is because we have been able to keep the cost far lower than the going contractor rate, all for the benefit of our investors. And because it is a service rendered, just like every other business that renders a service, there is some level of profitability there. So if I were to take a property management company as an example that has no maintenance function, and I was able to add that function, I could be instantly doubling the revenue just from that one outlook. And because we have done a great job over the years mastering full service, I can tell you there's a lot of other areas of additional service offerings that we can provide to investors that likely are not provided by their current organizations. Now, I don't want you to be scared that my focus is going to be on something other than the service that my current companies have provided to you for all these years, and it certainly is not. I would not be in this position if I wasn't fully confident that my businesses would operate with me present and with me not present every single day. I'm there for high-level decisions, and I have the pulse on everything that's happening in my organization without the need to be there every single day to handle these operations. The same goes for what we're acquiring. My hope is that I can locate real estate companies or property management companies that have a senior owner in the business that's maybe just looking to retire, and maybe they're not looking for a clean exit right this second, but maybe they'd stay on for a year or two to help us get acclimated to then put the operational effectiveness in place that we have come to master and enjoy. And by that point, the person could then make a full retirement and exit the business. That's just an example of one of the directions that we're going now. Certainly no decisions have been made, but I can tell you that we've actively engaged a business broker for these purposes. We've got a handful of states that we've identified. I've already looked into and am making the steps forward to get our licensing situated in those specific states. And it really comes down to what business identifies themselves as an opportunity that aligns with what our core values are, our core purpose, and the markets that we want to be in, and one that makes good financial sense for growth and expansion for Empire and the ecosystem. I'm excited to share such a private internal company workings with you. I hope that not only is it a source of excitement for you that there will be more opportunities coming your way just from the real estate investment opportunities, but that there's other types of investment opportunities on the horizon, as well as business opportunities for anybody that has any interest in learning a little bit more in detail about what we're doing. Until next time, take care, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. That's it for now. If passive income from real estate investments plays a role in your long-term investment strategy, this show is for you. Thanks for listening, and for more in-depth resources, please head over to growingempires.com.